What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are so excited. I hope you are pumped right now for the most action-packed hour you have ever received in your entire life. Why? Because this hour got it all, baby. Hope, inspiration, motivation, encouragement, empowerment, the whole nine, baby. So grab a chair, pull up a couple shots, let your hair down, and kick those shoes off, and get ready to receive the most jam-packed hour you have ever received in your entire life, baby. Let's go! Woo!
Hey, listen up, y'all. I'm gonna shout out this young gun right here because he's trying to do his thing. Joseph JAFFE, not famous. And probably rightfully so, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm famous because, you know, he not famous and he like, yo, let me call my famous friends and see if they'll shout me out and make me more famous, sir. Right? But so, Joseph JAFFE, man, it's cool. You got your late night talk show popping off. That's what's dope. Streaming, been doing your thing, man. Started this in March of the 2020, which is, tough throughout the years, but booking great guests, man. Jamal Mashboard, James Rollins, steady building it, man. Keep it popping off, man. Keep building your brand, man. Believe in yourself. Keep going hard, all right? That's what it's all about. One of these days, this little acronym of yours, not famous, is not going to be true. People going to see you in the mall and be like, I know who you is. Them going to be your cousins saying it all incorrect like that. But you know what I'm saying? You know what you going to do. What you going to do? They family. All right, bro. I'll holler.
A spring in your step. There is a twinkle in your eye.
I can throw a rhyme down for you real quick. Yes, they call me Thrill. They say that I'm the man. You disagree, how could you? Let me make you understand.
Should we bring her on the show? Can anybody find me? And there she is.
Fresh as some bread. Pour right from the oven. When you feel rejected, get some my loving.
Take on me.
She looks wonderful. Mom looks amazing.
Somebody too. Okay, more bugger off now. I've got to show it to you. Love.
Like that?
Joseph JAFFE, ladies and gentlemen.
You just made the new intro of the show. Welcome, everybody. It is Monday, October 18th, and I am happy to be alive. I am happy to be with you. I'm happy that Tabitha Lucas is here to support our guest, our very special, famous guest. She says, hey, everyone. Leslie Laredo is here. She says, happy Monday. Great to be here. And, of course, our resident philosopher, Tom Morris. He says, greetings, friends. Well, greetings to all of you. I am excited because it's just an amazing show. It is an amazing week ahead. We've got Bomani X, and I will tell you all about Bomani shortly. He's our guest tonight. Nancy Duarte tomorrow. Brian Featherstone on Wednesday, and Dion Johnson, the womanologist, in the house on Thursday. So, without further ado, let's just keep moving on because, I've got no banter other than just getting straight into my soliloquy. And the soliloquy today is called art. It is as simple as that. In fact, my music's not even finished, which is fine because today will be musical. Today will be creative. Today will be revenge of the art as opposed to the science. And that is what our soliloquy is about. So last week, I welcomed creator Deborah Bibon, and she spoke about the healing heartland. She called out the word art, which lives inside the word heart. Now, these days, anything with the word heart interests me. I have a personal connection, but actually, I've been playing with this idea for some time now. In 2004, I created the Battle for the Heart, and you can actually visit www.battlefortheheart.com to see the record of my online creative roadshow, which I ran across 8 cities in 2004 and then 6 cities in 2005. At times, I capitalized the letter A in heart. and other times I use design to call out the word art in heart. Here was my thesis. The online advertising world was dominated by the left brain, by the science, the analytics, the logic, the metrics, the ROI, the direct response. But where was the right brain, the emotion, the ideas, the creativity, the storytelling, the branding? To be clear, I wasn't trying to vanquish accountability. I was just trying to make the case for balance, both art and science. Sadly, in 2021, the online space still hasn't got the memo, but in fairness, neither has any other media platform. Even influencer marketing seems to be lacking the flair and originality in favor of a formulaic and scalable scientific process. And yet, I have hope, and I believe that artists hold the key to the future and continuity of creativity. And yes, the A in artists is already capitalized. Only there's a small twist. Today, there is a democratization of art, and with it, a decentralization of art. It is called the creator economy, and it is the story of how a wider, more diverse group of creatives can be recognized and rewarded for their pain, their passion, and their purpose. My guest tonight does it with his voice, softly spoken and hauntingly resonant. And he puts a bright and colorful face to the black and white icon with the power of the non-fungible token. Now, I know I called for balance and equilibrium earlier, but I kind of lied. They're not equal, nor should they be. Art must come before science, where science is the bones and skeleton that make up the box. Art is the ability to both transform and shatter the box or think outside it. There is a battle to be fought, and it's one worth fighting for. This is my fight. This is my art. Now it's time to welcome the artist extraordinaire. It's time to welcome Bomani X. And I can finally ask him what the X stands for. I'm thinking it's got to be the X factor. Now, when I first joined Clubhouse, all day long, I got notifications about two people that seemed to be the busiest people in show business. One was Mayor Ed Nussbaum, and the other was Bomani X. I wasn't sure who this mystical, mythical character was, but soon found out that he was literally the face of Clubhouse, meaning his profile picture was the app icon. Now, that's famous, and I wouldn't know because I'm decidedly unfamous, not famous. So let's welcome him to the show. Bomani X, welcome. Your debut on Joseph Jaffe is Not Famous.
What's up? What's up? How you doing? I'm good. Good. I love that intro. That soliloquy was amazing.
You're welcome. And I saw you laughing as well with Cedric the Entertainer. Life is, if life is not fun, then what's worth living for,
Exactly.
Now, I got to say the soliloquy has really been love. And sometimes it's like a little labor of love because, every single day I write 400 words. And I'm over 200 of these soliloquies. I've never missed one. And it's crazy. Like this week, I'm actually doing 7 shows. So that's like 7 soliloquies. And and so now it's just almost like masochistic. So now it's just like, I can't stop now. And I just enjoy the pain from, but Bomani, you are guest number 298. You are a creator. You are the original creator. You're a singer, songwriter, and a Clubhouse icon. I normally do this kind of fun thing on my show, which is I call it fun facts. But today I've changed a few things around. The first is it's always a national day, and today is National Mulligan Day. It's kind of National Do-Over Day, and what I've started to do, I used to just, throw this out at the beginning of the show, but now I bring it into my guest. So my first question to you is, have you ever wished for a mulligan in your life? Have you ever regretted something? Have you ever wanted a do-over? Or how have you kind of approached that in your life?
I don't know. Personally, I am someone who's like super heavy in like believing that like what life throws to you is either it's definitely for you, and that there are lessons in that experience, both both good, both bad, both just okay. And I do. People often ask that question, like, yeah, like, what is a moment that you would like to relive, or like, like, would you go back and change certain things? And personally, I always answer that question saying, like, no, not really. I truly believe that like the life that we come to this earth to live is really a personal journey, and you may not see the benefits of that journey or where that journey is taking you, but like the journey itself is so beautiful. So I personally and fundamentally don't really believe in like regrets in terms of
regrets.
Not saying I'm not regretful for a lot of things. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But like, I do appreciate the hard lessons that I've had to learn, because that really shaped who I am today, and I love myself today. so why risk the potential of like not being the person you love today just to be someone you think you may like tomorrow, or in another scenario. Mulligan moments. I do wish I paid attention a little better in college and got better grades.
I get asked that question a lot too, and my answer actually it's similar to yours, but I generally started off by saying probably investing in Bitcoin when I had at the beginning. But other than that, and you said something I think so beautiful there. You said this idea of, you said, I love myself today. You don't hear that a lot. I mean, I've interviewed 300 people. You don't hear people actually say, I love myself today. And also you made the very key distinction that you're not going to do something today, in the hope of maybe loving yourself tomorrow or in the future. Like, you accept yourself and you love yourself and embrace yourself right now, today. I think that's a beautiful thought.
Yeah.
So
not one that's been my thought process for a long time, but definitely recently I've been starting to.
I had a guy on the show last week. He went to federal jail, and we spoke about second chances, and we spoke about gratitude, and that was at the heart of his kind of rehabilitation, which is gratitude, which is just being grateful for every opportunity. He said he used to go on walks of gratitude every day while he was confined, and it became a habit, and it became part of his life. So, to hell with National Mulligan Day. We move on. And look, people, adoring fans everywhere, want to know certain things about you. There are things that just make no sense, that are completely irrational. And we bring this out in a segment that I call Fun Facts. And, the one fun fact about you, which actually came to light, you're thinking right now, what has he got on me? And this is what we found out about you. We found out about this really twisted, I don't know if it's a fetish or an obsession on milk before cereal. But according to what I've seen, on the fact checking Google, it says never trust someone who pours milk in their bowl before the cereal. But the counter argument clearly says that there is a right way and a wrong way to do this. So, Bomani, tell us about this, whether it's a peeve or a passion of yours. And because I know you are not going to rest until you have converted every, Philistine or philanderer in the world and get them on the right path.
Exactly. You know, Milk First Gang, it's a lifestyle. One that, while is an actual like real fun fact, you know, like I do actually pour my milk before my cereal. I probably got that from my mom because she also pours her milk before her cereal. And not until recently, in terms of like the community I've started building, didn't realize that like how much of a charged topic that is, and different of opinions that a lot of people have. But yeah, I think it's, you know, the right way. You know, I'm all about like optimizing crunch to my eating experiences, and I do not like soggy cereal, and people that pour cereal first tend to have soggy cereal, and that's just not what I'm about. Even though like it is a very playful topic, like we do try to like really make a strong philosophy about why milk first is the way to go. Because you know, you gotta know what you're pouring into your bowl, which is like reflective of your life and your body. You gotta know what you're pouring into yourself first before you allow other things into your life. And that's really what the Milk First movement is about. And not being afraid of like trying new experiences. Like people see that as a very simple thing about life, but have so many like preconceived notions or anxieties or fear about like even trying new things out. And that's what really the movement is about, just experimentation and just living life and being mindful of like the decisions and habits that we set for ourselves unknowingly. Yeah, that's like my philosophy degree at work.
That is your platform. And Leslie Laredo says milk or cereal first is something I never thought about. Yes, it's all about the crunch. So why do we even need milk?
I mean, that's true. There are like cereal purists, or, you know, they just like eat cereal, but I think cereal as a meal encompasses the fact that it includes milk. People will try to make weird parallels and be like, do you put salad dressing under the salad? Which, yes, it serves the same effect of like, you don't want things to be soggy, but cereal is like the perfect balance of like milk and cereal. That's what cereal is.
I'm fairly certain that we could actually spend the entire show just discussing this. And I know this because I've sat in many rooms that have gone on for hours upon hours, and you have not rested until you've converted. And of course, and you've tied in the, you know, your creator coin, your Boo coin. So people are even making coin from becoming a convert. By the way, I just found out that optimizing crunch is trending on Twitter. So there's good news as well. I love that roadcaster. I mean, what roadcaster? It's a live studio audience. What am I talking about? You know, Tabitha says, let's get a bowl, Jaffe.
Yes.
You know, it's so funny because in doing sometimes these like silly, I don't want to say silly, sorry. I take that back, but doing the fun fact segment, I should say, it's unbelievable how profound, like there's always a lesson behind it. And first of all, I didn't realize you were a philosopher. So maybe Tom Morris has got, I don't know, he's got some competition on a Thursday, but it's true. It's like people get so set in their ways, and they don't try new things, and they think this is just the way it was always done. And so they actually, I mean, I see a book in your future, the Milk First, you know, what I learned about life from my Milk First rooms on Clubhouse.
Yeah,
it's a bestseller. It's an international bestseller, and there's no
coming soon.
Coming soon, exactly. So I want to move, you know, regretfully from milk before cereal, and talk about, I guess, how we connected in the first place. This thing called Clubhouse, this audio first, the social audio phenomenon. You know, I was told incorrectly I said you were the first icon in Clubhouse, but I'm sticking to that. You were my first icon in Clubhouse. You were like, the face of Clubhouse when I joined, and I guess it's been a bit of a life changing experience for you. I mean, for so many people, it has. What I would love for you to tell us is, first of all, tell us about Bomani X before Clubhouse, and then what happened and how you became the icon, so to speak.
Yeah, so Bomani pre-Clubhouse was, still a singer, songwriter, guitarist, musician, born and raised in New York. Ended up going to college in Washington, D.C. at Howard University, where I was a philosophy major, and also a musician. And then I really started getting interested in like technology and digital strategy, and started picking up like digital marketing gigs in the industry. And after I graduated, moved out to California, lived in the Bay Area for a bit, lived in LA for a bit. And yeah, so like Bomani before Clubhouse was just like, a musician who really loved tech and technology, and how tech spaces and products can be used as like the tool and solution for like some of the artist struggles that we naturally face, whether that's like financially, whether that's just like creatively, whether that's just like being able to stand out and innovate. I've always found technology as like the connective tissue to my art as a musician. So I was songwriting, working on music in LA, and also like as a digital marketer, working for like clients like Wyclef, Paul Abdul, Eve, and connecting with a bunch of different startups. And in that journey, something led to me having to go back to DC to help take care of my grandma for a bit. And with that, the work side of me, or the passion towards the work side, started really dwindling, and the real strong passion for like the creative and side of myself really started like wanting to come out more and more. So I started focusing way more on like me and the things that I'm truly passionate about, which has always been music and community and friendships, and being able to just like do cool things with my friends. And I just really started heavily focusing on like my own brand, working on like my own style, and honing my own genre. And that was like a very long and solo journey here by myself in DC with my grandma. And then out of nowhere, I just felt really struggling and frustrated that I couldn't really create the type of content and build the type of community that I really wanted. And I started just getting off of Instagram and venturing back on Twitter. And because my Twitter community has always been kind of techish, I started hearing this like buzzword about Clubhouse a lot. Clubhouse. And this is like early on in July. And yeah, and through, kind of having an inside view into the tech community, I ended up getting on like the wait list for Clubhouse, and I ended up getting like access to the app on the same day. And literally since then was like the start of my Clubhouse journey, which is a whole nother segment, but we can get into that a bit later. But yeah, before Clubhouse, I was just, a regular musician, someone with freelance jobs in the tech industry, and someone who still pours their milk before cereal.
Okay, so that's a great setup and a great segue, because there you are, and you're making a living, and you're feeling, and you have this connection to tech, which clearly still is with you, and everything is kind of shaping you for who you would become, but also moving towards the light, or the light that gives you your purpose and your passion. Let's let's pause there. And by the way, Tabitha says pretty lucky same day access. That's first mover advantage. And Glenn is here. He said, sorry for being late, but you're here now. Better late than never. Let's talk about, you being a singer and a songwriter. In fact, let's not talk about it. I would be absolutely thrilled if you would perform a song for us, and maybe we'll do another one later in the show. We'll do this as a little bit of an intermission, if you will, because the art is the common thread throughout. So I will disappear into the background and let you do your thing, and let us know what we're listening to, Bomani.
Yeah. So this song that I'm going to do is a new song that I wrote probably in the last few weeks. Quick backstory on the song. A bunch of friends and the community that I've built on Clubhouse had turned into me meeting a really good friend of mine, Austin Dean Ashford, on the platform, and meeting him, he had set up this tour, kind of like both a Clubhouse world tour and also a physical tour. And on the tour, he asked me to come along and open for him. And during that tour, during one of the rehearsals for the DC show, this lady had came up to me and asked me a very interesting question based on another song that I was doing. She had asked me, "Hey, Bomani, are you afraid of success?" And that's a really deep question. Not a question that I shy away from answering, but also a question that I honestly don't know if I have the answer right now. And thinking about that in my head, I started thinking about, like, why am I answering this question to this stranger? Or why can't I answer this question to the stranger? Like, what about this dynamic of meeting strangers is really standing out to me right now? And on a platform like Clubhouse, which is, you're surrounded by strangers in which you make really genuine relationships with. I started writing this song, kind of like an interlude type of vibe, but it's called Strangers, and I'm gonna play it real quick and hope you enjoy it. See, I wrote this song about a stranger. Feels like I'm in a room full of strangers. You ever made love with a stranger? It's hard for me to open up to strangers. I sometimes feel like a stranger, living in a world full of strangers. Sometimes I'm scared of the stranger, and I am that stranger. It's okay to make mistakes as a stranger. So will you be my stranger? Sometimes you make the best memories with strangers. And even though I'm still stranger, I think I'm starting to like all my strangers. So I want to thank y'all for being strangers. Cause one day we'll just be strangers. And I am that stranger. I am that stranger. But yeah, that's that one.
There it is. I was on mute just because I was like, I'm not interrupting this, but there you go.
Thank you.
With the awful air horn as well, but it's beautiful. Actually, I had goosebumps as I was listening to it, and I realized there are a bunch of interesting questions. One of the things in your song is the fact that you said you're a stranger too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, as someone who's spoken in front of people, as someone who one too many, when you're a public figure, people think they know you.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you are as much a stranger to them as they are to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that connection is a very powerful one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So now you have to answer the question, which is, are you afraid of success?
And then that's when we go to writing more songs.
And then you're going to just write a song that goes, see, I was talking to a talk show host. But I mean, here you are. Let's talk about the second part of your story, Bomani, which is you enter this app, and from that moment to suddenly the fact that you're an icon and 3.7 million followers. I mean, these numbers are insane. I mean, they're so big. How do you grasp it? How do you connect? How do you scale intimacy, as the old saying goes?
Oh wait, is my thing still on? Okay, no, it's not. Like, on one hand, both having privilege and access to the platform a lot earlier than most people, my perceptions of the app are drastically different, and seeing how it was back then and seeing how it is now, and still being able to draw from different elements of that, of like just how the platform grows. Having a high followership on Clubhouse, it definitely has different contexts than other well-established social media platforms. Like there's a pretty strong preconceived notion like what followership means on like an Instagram or on a TikTok or a YouTube, whether that is like content expectations or community expectations, financial expectations. And I think the beauty of being a participant firsthand in what that expectation of high followership looks like on this new platform, it definitely is very interesting, because a lot of things don't translate because it's still like a live audio app, and really based on, like you said, like that intimacy that comes with it. There isn't that like huge shadow, like uneasiness that comes with being a quote unquote influencer. Like to me, it still feels like how it felt day one, where like I'm in a room and I'm connecting with people very genuinely from across the world, and just having conversations, just being able to share a peek of what I do when I'm at home in my comfort zone, getting a peek into listening what other people are doing at home in their comfort zone or in the world and in life. So like it hasn't like gotten to me as much as people expect. It still kind of feels like just a number, because the expectation of that number isn't as strong. And I think the worst part is like the expectation people put on me. and like you said, like, you know, people honestly still don't fully know me, and they may attach a lot of these preconceived notions of influencership or what my role is on that platform. So that's a little bit of like the dynamic that I have to like adapt with. But you know, I really still love the app. Like I get on the app just to release and play music and talk to people, and also use my privilege to help support people, knowing that I do have that as an option and that's available to me. But yeah, it's not too difficult to manage. I can definitely probably agree that 1 million plus on another platform would be a lot more to manage than 1 million plus on Clubhouse right now.
Well, it's, you know, it's so interesting because, I mean, I even remember the very first time you came into a room that I was running, and everyone would fawn over you, and it was like, Bomani's here, Bomani's here. And, you know, as I've gotten to know you a little bit better, I see you and realize, as I said, you know, even in the soliloquy, you know, I chose the words, you know, very carefully, and very deliberately. You know, I said softly spoken and hauntingly resonant. And you kind of, what you see is what you get. And there's something else about you, which I don't know whether this was intentional or not. I imagine part of it is intentional, but if you look at your follower count, 3.7 million people follow you, but you follow 2,800. And it is that 2,800 that you've been able to create something like amazing. And what I mean by that is you create these social rooms, and the social rooms are not overrun with people, and they're not overrun with people that are clout chasing or promoting. The more time you spend in these rooms, the more you just get to hang out and be yourself and see the only Bomani, which is the real Bomani. And so I think you've been able to find this balance of jumping in a room and suddenly, like, you know, it's like the Pied Piper, everyone comes with you. But then on the flip side, you still get to hang out and talk about milk before cereal and other things, and your new favorite, which we have to get to, which is the whole NFT world, which is really not about NFTs at all, right? It's about community. So that's just something that I wanted to say in terms of like observing how you found the balance. And not many people can figure that out. I promise you that.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a level of like, it is a reflection of like the different pockets of people and communities that I naturally tap into, and how it's really important to like really know people. Because the thing about Clubhouse, like, while it is an app, I think for the first time it's showing people that like these digital environments, whether like, you know, like you just mentioned in the NFT space, or whether in just like traditional social media space, are really reflective of like your home or the worldview that you surround yourself with. And while it can be super beneficial to bring people into your circle, into your world, it also can be super dangerous, and matching energies that are for you in your space of something that we do on a regular basis in the real world is something that we should definitely take heed to in the digital world. And because I really view Clubhouse as like a reflection of my home, like I'm very like particular about like who I invite to that space. But also very open to, you know, people outside of what I'm used to coming into my space. So it's like you said, it's a tricky balance, and there's no real one way to do it, but something that I intentionally think about a lot.
It's a very interesting concept, this idea of balance between not being, let's just say, between being closed and selective, and then being open and inclusive. And one of the things that I often talk about and even speak on is this idea of authentic voice. What your first tweet looked like, what your first room might have sounded like, the first time you ever come onto stage. You have to find yourself and realize who you are. At the moment in Clubhouse, it's weird. I've become a listener. And as I've said many times on the show recently, the word listen and silent are anagrams of one another. And I just feel like right now, I don't need to talk. People love hearing the sound of their own voice, and I don't need to talk anymore. I used to need to hear my own voice, but now I have enough opportunity to talk, as I'm doing right now. And even so on the show, it's not about me, which is why it's called, Not Famous. So, but you've come up with a new idea, which I want to just credit you with, is there's authentic place, right? There's authentic voice. But you spoke about this idea of an authentic space, or at least I'm paraphrasing, right? An authentic place. It is a place that reflects who you are on the inside, and ultimately, who you connect with and choose to connect with on the outside. And I think it's a fantastic thought to kind of, build on.
Thank you. And and that's also how I structure a lot of my songwriting. Going back to the Stranger song, like, while on the outside, surface level, it does appear that I'm talking about people and talking about actual strangers, but like you said, like you mentioned, like when I said I am that stranger, like the whole song is really a conversation with myself, to be honest. And the journey that I had to go through to like even connect to who I really am, or who is that stranger inside, that, or the different parts of my personality that I don't let flourish because I'm not familiar with them yet. And how do you have that conversation with yourself to then be able to have those types of conversations with other people?
One of the things that I spoke about in the soliloquy was this interesting blend of art and science. And what I'd like to do in the time we have left is talk about these interesting blends, right, between maybe the art of being a content creator and the science of monetization. You and I both have our creator coins. This is the famous Boo coin. But I always find a quote, and this is the quote that I found for you, Bomani. It's an interesting one. During human progress, every science is evolved out of its corresponding art. And this is what kind of like shows me, in the chicken and egg, art comes first. What's even more interesting is that this is actually from someone by the name of Herbert Spencer, who was an English sociologist. This is so fascinating. An English sociologist and philosopher who had early interest in science. He coined the phrase survival of the fittest. This is the guy who created survival of the fittest. And this quote comes from 1852. So it just like kind of blew my mind when we think about technology and all of this stuff, that here we are understanding art and science and recognizing that our ability to understand it actually influences human progress itself.
Yeah, I agree. And that definitely shapes my viewpoints, not necessarily about the world, but just like life in general. Both being like a passionate astrologer, or just having the viewpoint of like you said, like how art influences our worldview and how art influences the things that we create to understand the world, i.e. science, and how that's like an undying loop. I 100% agree with that quote.
Yeah, and it's the interdependence. It was almost this idea of instead of thinking of it as balance, think of it more like understand the relationship and how they connect and influence and the loop in a way. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't do a couple of things. One is to remind people who are wondering why I haven't given away JAFFE coin yet. And it's because I did kind of put the QR code up, but Bomani, this QR code is only live 9 to 10 p.m. Eastern. So as long as the show is live, the QR code is live. It's one way that I reward people that are tuning in live. So anyone right now, you have about 15 minutes left if you'd like to get some JAFFE coin. And it's a way that I, as I said, recognize and reward my community. So, use your phone, Bomani, and get yourself JAFFE coin. Don't worry, I will not only send you that, but I will send you my NFT, which should drop. Can we say an NFT drops? Forget about my misunderstanding of anything. I want to talk about NFTs, and at some point you seem to get bored with milk and cereal, and suddenly I just saw in your rooms all these very colorful apes. Some of them were bored, some of them were zombies. And it was so early that I didn't actually even know what it was. And I'll be honest, like I didn't, but you talk to us about, your foray into NFTs, and really what I think it is about, both art and community.
I think like a lot of people that were on Clubhouse and paying attention to the trends of the platform, really saw a huge boom of like the NFT space coming into the social audio space. NFTs and crypto wasn't necessarily something that I wasn't familiar with. I've known about the crypto space and known about the NFT space for a while. Particularly the NFT space, not necessarily seeing like my personal role in it until like hearing a lot more of the context and the conversations that was going on in Clubhouse. I've noticed while I was the app icon and while I was growing this platform for myself, that it was a divine time to really live out like me being my authentic self. And like I really do enjoy like technology, and I really do enjoy innovating, and I really do like just trying new things. And that was one of the reasons why I drew towards Rally and having a creator coin, and why I drew towards like, how do I intentionally leverage this platform that I'm building before it fizzles out. And I kind of resonated a lot with like the conversations that was happening in the NFT space, and seeing rooms of like people, making millions of dollars on stage, and it finally being a celebration of the dedication that he's had towards his art and craft and passion, and it finally being recognized in society, and this notion of like digital art or digital identity, like and ownership and value like really coming to the forefront. And that was something that was just like, it really stuck out to me about like how the NFT space was really a space promoting like a new type of value exchange, and a type of value exchange that can be extremely beneficial to artists and multi-hyphenate people like myself and my friends. So, I just started like really, paying attention, also using my leverage on Clubhouse, to boost rooms, to kind of get into that space and different types of conversations, to like learn at a faster rate what's going on. And then I started picking up projects, collecting different things that were on Clubhouse, and like building a buzz. And I didn't fully see it for the financial implications at first. More so like I wanted to just set up like a ground base on like the creative, innovative side that I've wanted to then step into for myself when I really am ready. So really, me getting my Bored Ape and other different collectibles was really just experimenting like what this space really entails. So when I want to bring my community into that fold, I know exactly how But yeah, NFTs have been a wild ride. And if you've been following on Clubhouse and Twitter, you can definitely see a lot of people's lives have been changing based on a newfound confidence and value on art and ownership. And it's really cool, something that you don't see so often. So when you see
Yeah.
a wave like this happening, is really best to catch on.
So what do I do with my broadcaster 609? This is the, I was so excited to change my icon until I realized that, until the reveal was that I'm actually a woman. And so I'm not really sure what to do. What should I do with her? Should I crop her? Should I embrace my womanhood? Should I sell her? Should I put her back onto this? Should I send her back into the ocean? I need some advice on what to do with. This is the first time I actually bought an NFT, and by the time I figured it out, I'd probably I don't know how much how much I donated to the ether. What do I do with 609, Bomani?
Yeah, I mean, definitely what is a huge trend in NFT space is like the profile photos style projects, or just like an overall conversation about like what digital identity really means. And I think, you and I definitely understand that pre-NFTs in the social media space, your digital identity in terms of your brand, or how you market yourself, or how you want people to view you, is important. But now we have the ability to really expand on that identity. And that's why, if that's something you resonate with, and outside of like the financial implications, I really like the TV head, that's really cool.
I think I'm going to embrace her. I'm going to embrace her. I'm going to embrace my new identity. And in fact, Tabitha said embrace. So
Yeah.
the consensus is to embrace, 609. I do love the TV. It's kind of like Matrix. It's red pill. I don't know what's going on there, but
And
it
I
was
think
fun.
Yeah, and I think the cool part about it is there's a whole world building just with that identity, and how people choose to really embrace the identities that they resonate with can be really powerful. It definitely has some negative implications as well, but that's a whole brand in itself that can live and grow with you. Or you can just be the middleman for selling it to somebody else that resonates with it a lot more.
Well, I'm gonna use the Bomani 1-2 punch, which I love the words privilege and access. Is being able to be in the game, but also having the gratitude to appreciate the fact that you're in the game,
Yeah,
even
exactly.
though and let's just hope it's not a Squid Game. So we will leave it at that. We have time for two things. One is our resident entrepreneurial correspondent Gregarious is in the house, and so we're going to run his segment, and then hopefully Bomani will grace us with one more song, or if he chooses, and if he doesn't, we'll be grateful for what we got. So without further ado, here is Gregarious.
So today I want to tell you about a mistake that I've made twice in the last year, or maybe a couple of years. Maybe I've made it 100 times in the last 20 years, actually, that I think is worth remembering. And what it boils down to is this. When you create a product for someone, in general, you want it to be at least what I would say, as my friend Lindsay Tava says, 10% better than the solution that they currently have. The problem is that in the past, what I've done is sometimes made something so close to the thing that they have that they're not sure when to use it. And this can be the death knell for your new startup. So let me give you an example. Let's say you make a paper towel and you have your competition being other paper towels. Well, if someone's not sure when to use your paper towel, or they wonder, should I be using this paper towel now versus this paper towel? You've lost, right? What that really boils down to is having a very clear and succinct value proposition for your potential customers. And you'll know if you've discovered that by talking to those customers, because they will tell you, oh, you know what this is great for? It's this. Because if they tell you, I'm not sure when I would use this, then you're probably in the wrong place. So that's what I would give you. My advice today is to make sure that you focus on finding a very unique and clear value prop, and don't worry about how big it is. Just make sure that it's unique and that it's real, and you'll see more success.
Yeah, I love that idea. And, and when we think about digital identity and we think about digital brands, etc., certainly Broadcaster 609 is unique and distinct. And so I'm going to hold on to it. I'm going to HODL, right? I'm going to hold on for dear life. I wish I could hold on to you for dear life today, Bomani, but our time is almost up. Would you be open to one more song?
Yeah, I can do one more for sure.
Wonderful. Well, I'm actually going to then thank you, and I'm going to disappear into Bolivian. And as soon as you're done with the show, you will hear what Chuck Norris had to say about you today. There's one more slide, which is, what does Chuck Norris have to say about Bomani X? So, Bomani, take it away. And of course, I will be back tomorrow. So, Bomani, thank you for your time today, and get some sleep.
Okay. This last song that I'm gonna do is called Faded. Another relatively new and recent song. It's pretty heavy, it's pretty deep, but definitely a newfound favorite. And hopefully my voice can get through it, but here it is. Oh, gotta turn on my guitar first. Said I heard that you thought I was crazy. All because I came a little faded. That's 'cause death was on my mind and I'm waiting. And I'm hoping to find a replacement. But I keep looking for answers and conversations. Well, don't mind me, I'm just faded. 'Cause I heard that you thought I was crazy. All because I came a little faded. That's 'cause death was on my mind and I'm waiting. And I'm hoping to find a replacement. But I keep looking for answers and conversations. Well, don't mind me, I'm just faded. Maybe you thought I was just lazy. 'Cause sometimes I can be a little complacent. Well, that's 'cause death was on my mind and I'm waiting. And I'm hoping to find a replacement. But I keep looking for answers and conversations. Well, don't mind me, I'm just faded. 'Cause when you open up that door to find the things you're searching for, nobody knows you. And when you're leaving things open for interpretation on the reason why you're all alone. 'Cause Nobody has to know. So why you do the things you do. Nobody has to care. So keep that shit between me and you. Especially when they feel like you're going insane. All because you can't really explain what death is on your mind and you're waiting. And you're hoping to find a replacement. But you keep looking for answers and conversation. Well, don't mind me, I'm just afraid. 'Cause when you open up that door to find the things you're searching for, nobody knows you. And when you're leaving things open for interpretation, the reason why you're all alone. 'Cause nobody has to know. So why you do things you do, and nobody has a care. So keep that shit between me and you. And thank you. That's that in my song.
You are Chuck Norris approved.
Thank you for watching the show about hope, positivity, optimism, and if there's time left over, a little bit of marketing with your host, multiple author, and global keynote speaker, Joseph Jaffe. If you like the show, tell a friend or two. Please subscribe to the show, and if you want to get inside news, previews of upcoming guests, and much more, visit josephjaffe.com/subscribe to sign up for the show's newsletter.
And despite the best ministrations of your wife, you still look ugly.